Welcome to our immigration briefing show. Today, we're diving into some hot topics from around the globe. First up, the U.S. Supreme Court has made a controversial move that could shake up the very foundation of birthright citizenship, sparking heated debates and legal challenges. This decision hints at possible future restrictions on who can become a U.S. citizen just by being born on American soil. Next, in Australia, multicultural women are getting a splash of hope with free swimming lessons aimed at reducing drownings. This initiative helps boost water safety and confidence, especially in rural areas where water accidents are more common. It's a heartwarming effort to promote safety, inclusion, and community spirit. Finally, in the United States, immigration enforcement is making headlines with a surge in detention-related deaths, aggressive raids, and legal battles. From heavily armed agents storming homes to protecting key witnesses from deportation, the immigration landscape remains tense and complex. Please continue to watch for more detailed insights. The Globe and Mail vividly captures the explosive political and constitutional upheaval ignited by the U.S. Supreme Court's recent decision concerning birthright citizenship. Historically, the 14th Amendment's guarantee that anyone born on U.S. soil is a citizen was considered inviolable, rooted in the aftermath of the Civil War to ensure rights for freed slaves. However, the Trump administration challenged this settled interpretation, arguing that the amendment's language reflected a specific historical context that no longer applied. The court's ruling, while not directly overturning birthright citizenship, emphasized that executive actions cannot be halted by judicial overreach, opening the door for the administration to attempt to deny citizenship to children of migrants, particularly those born in the U.S. with parents in the country illegally. This move has sparked fierce debates over constitutional interpretation, immigration policies, and the future demographic makeup of America, with legal scholars divided over the administration's claims and the court's nuanced stance. Australian Broadcasting Corporation highlights a vital community effort to combat water safety disparities faced by multicultural women in Australia. Tira Avery, a woman from Thailand who moved to Gippsland, exemplifies the barriers many immigrant women encounter: limited swimming skills and a lack of confidence around water, often due to cultural differences or inadequate early exposure. Recognizing the urgent need for tailored education, local organizations launched free, culturally sensitive swimming lessons aimed at empowering women like Avery. These lessons not only teach vital survival skills, such as how to float or respond in emergencies, but also foster community inclusion and break down cultural fears surrounding water. With over 39% of drownings involving overseas-born individuals, this initiative underscores the importance of targeted water safety education to save lives and promote integration in multicultural communities. The Independent sheds light on the grim reality of the Trump administration's handling of immigrant detention, revealing a disturbing spike in deaths within federal custody. Since taking office, at least 12 deaths have been reported, including a Cuban man and a Canadian citizen, with critics warning that this year could see as many as 24 fatalities, more than any year in recent history. Overburdened detention centers, operating far beyond their capacity, have become battlegrounds of deteriorating conditions, with reports of suicides and unexplained deaths raising urgent questions about the treatment of migrants. Critics argue that the aggressive push to deport millions has strained facilities to the breaking point, resulting in inhumane conditions and preventable deaths. This alarming trend underscores the human cost of the administration's immigration policies, amid calls for accountability and reform to ensure the safety and dignity of those in custody. The Independent vividly details a startling raid in Huntington Park, California, where heavily armed federal agents forcefully stormed a suspect's home, blowing off the door and shattering windows, only to find that the suspect was absent. Inside, the suspect's girlfriend, Jenny Ramirez, and her children were terrified as agents, using a drone and guns drawn, entered her home without knocking or identifying themselves until after she and her children were evacuated. Ramirez described the traumatic experience of her baby being present during the explosion, emphasizing the unnecessary violence and emotional damage inflicted on her family. The incident, occurring amidst ongoing protests against ICE raids and a surge in immigrant detentions under the Trump administration, highlights the brutal tactics employed by federal agents and the community's outrage over the excessive force used during immigration enforcement actions. The Associated Press reports on a significant development in the case against Kilmar Abrego Garcia, revealing that the Trump administration has agreed to spare a key witness, Jose Ramon Hernandez Reyes, from deportation in exchange for his cooperation. Hernandez Reyes, a convicted migrant smuggler with a history of illegal re-entry and gunfire, was released early from prison and allowed to stay in the U.S. for at least a year, positioning him as a crucial witness in the case. This decision underscores the complex legal maneuvers surrounding immigration enforcement, especially after Abrego Garcia was mistakenly deported and then returned to face charges. The case exemplifies the contentious intersection of immigration policy, criminal justice, and political pressure, with the potential to influence the administration's efforts to deport individuals involved in migrant smuggling. Yahoo US highlights the controversy surrounding the Supreme Court's recent ruling on birthright citizenship, where a 6-3 decision limited the scope of nationwide injunctions that blocked President Trump's efforts to end automatic citizenship for children born in the U.S. to non-citizens. Senator Chris Murphy condemned the ruling as dangerous, warning that it undermines the rule of law by empowering the president to act unlawfully without effective judicial restraint. The White House heralded the decision as a victory, with President Trump claiming it simplifies the complex issue. However, critics argue that this ruling creates chaos by allowing states to interpret citizenship laws differently, risking a patchwork of inconsistent policies that challenge the constitutional guarantee of citizenship for all born on U.S. soil. This decision marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing debate over immigration and constitutional rights, with far-reaching implications for the future of American citizenship laws. The Associated Press reports that President Donald Trump has made it clear that he does not intend to extend the 90-day tariff pause on most countries beyond July 9, signaling a readiness to impose tariffs unless trade deals are reached. He mentioned that letters informing countries of impending tariffs, ranging from 10% to 50%, will be sent soon, based on how they treat the U.S. during negotiations. Trump also highlighted the impracticality of negotiating with all 200 countries, emphasizing the challenge of securing 90 deals in 90 days, and expressed skepticism about the feasibility of dealing with each nation separately. The South China Morning Post details Trump's comments on a potential TikTok sale, revealing that a group of wealthy investors might purchase the platform, potentially with China's approval. Trump indicated that he would announce specifics within 2 weeks, hinting at a deal that could preserve TikTok's presence in the U.S. under American ownership. He also discussed the recent U.S. strikes on Iran, claiming they obliterated Iran's nuclear facilities and setting back its nuclear ambitions, despite Iran's denials and international skepticism. Trump's remarks also touched on his stance towards Iran's nuclear program, the leak of intelligence assessments, and his administration's ongoing investigation into the matter. Yahoo US highlights grassroots activism in Los Angeles, where residents are shifting tactics in opposition to immigration enforcement. After the arrest of beloved local ice cream vendor Enrique Lozano, community members rallied around his family, raising thousands of dollars and spreading awareness through social media. This localized resistance reflects a broader trend of neighborhood-level protests, real-time sharing of immigration raids, and community support, contrasting with earlier large-scale demonstrations. The article underscores the pervasive fear among immigrant communities, with many avoiding public spaces and services due to the threat of detention, and illustrates how grassroots organizations are mobilizing to protect and support their communities amid aggressive federal immigration policies. The Toronto Star vividly recounts the enduring struggles of skilled immigrants like Stella Rahman and Yasmin Mammaloglu, illustrating how their professional qualifications are often undervalued or unrecognized in Canada. Rahman, a physician from Bangladesh, faced insurmountable barriers despite passing licensing exams and completing residency, ultimately losing her medical career and working in community health and interpretation instead. Her story, echoing through the decades, underscores systemic bureaucratic opacity and biases that prevent foreign-trained professionals from contributing fully, despite Canada's need for their expertise. Meanwhile, Mammaloglu, a licensed lawyer from Turkey, works multiple survival jobs while studying law anew, highlighting how recent policy shifts still fall short of truly integrating highly qualified immigrants into the labor market, with many relegated to precarious, low-wage work due to unrecognized credentials and systemic barriers. The Toronto Star further exposes the gaps in Canada's credential recognition system, which remains largely ineffective despite recent reforms and federal funding. Experts like Rupa Banerjee and Shamira Madani critique the shift toward a short-term, labor market-focused immigration model that treats skilled newcomers as commodities rather than long-term contributors. The system's failure to properly recognize foreign credentials results in significant economic losses, estimated at $50 billion annually, while many immigrants remain underemployed or in gig work, even as labor shortages persist. The disjointed cooperation between federal and provincial authorities, along with opaque licensing processes, perpetuates a cycle where talented professionals like Rahman and Mammaloglu are unable to utilize their skills, thus depriving Canada of valuable human capital and economic growth opportunities. In Michigan, the plight of immigrant children and families reveals a different but equally troubling picture of immigration policy's human toll. The Detroit Free Press details how recent restrictive regulations and aggressive deportation efforts threaten the well-being and future of unaccompanied minors and their families, many of whom are fleeing extreme circumstances. The Trump administration's targeted raids and policies like the revocation of the Flores settlement threaten to detain children indefinitely and dismantle vital support systems, exacerbating trauma and disrupting education. With nearly 300,000 children in immigrant families, these policies jeopardize Michigan's economic and social stability, as families face deportation, legal barriers, and cuts to essential services like SNAP and the child tax credit. The long-term consequences threaten to create a traumatized generation, undermining the state's future workforce and economic potential. According to Yahoo US, a heroic act turned complicated when Luis Alvarez, a 31-year-old man from Nicaragua, who courageously jumped into the waters off Florida's coast to help a 9-year-old girl attacked by a shark, now faces potential deportation. Alvarez's brave effort, which included diving deep to scare the shark and rescue Leah Lendel's sister, was overshadowed by his subsequent arrest for driving without a license. Despite having no prior criminal record in Collier County and a history of similar infractions in Lee County, Alvarez's legal situation is now intertwined with immigration enforcement, as he is held by ICE and scheduled for a court hearing. His story highlights the stark contrast between individual heroism and the harsh realities of immigration policy, emphasizing how a single act of kindness can become entangled in complex legal and political issues. Meanwhile, The Independent reports on a controversial new development in Florida's immigration detention system, where the Department of Homeland Security has launched construction of a proposed facility dubbed Alligator Alcatraz in the Everglades. The project, which has sparked outrage among environmentalists and civil rights advocates, involves building a $450 million detention center in a wetlands area home to endangered species like the Florida panther. The DHS's provocative social media post, featuring an AI-generated meme of alligators in ICE caps guarding the site, drew widespread criticism for its insensitivity and perceived inhumanity. Opponents argue that the site's ecological significance and legal requirements for environmental review have been ignored, while supporters, including Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis, tout the facility's strategic remote location as a security advantage. This controversy underscores the ongoing tensions between immigration enforcement, environmental conservation, and public sentiment. In addition, Yahoo US details the alarming rise in impersonation of ICE officers across the United States, with recent arrests such as that of Fernando Diaz in California, suspected of posing as a federal immigration agent. Diaz's case, involving possession of unregistered firearms and fake documents, is part of a broader pattern of masked, plainclothes agents conducting raids, which has led to increased impersonation and dangerous encounters. Experts warn that the increased deployment of unmarked officers and the use of disguises heighten the risk of imposters deceiving the public and committing crimes under the guise of law enforcement. This surge in impersonation incidents raises serious concerns about public safety and the integrity of immigration enforcement, highlighting the need for clearer identification and accountability for federal agents operating in the field. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Great dragon wakes ancient streets, leading change with modern beats. Cities rise and towers peak, new dawn breaking, bold and sleek. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all in play, future shines brighter every day. Great dragon will change, the cause marching strong with mighty force. New era, new wave, fast-paced day, history made in full display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west at knowledge door. Complex world they navigate, China's power demonstrates. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all the play. Future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the course. Marching strong with mighty force. New era, new way, fast-paced day. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions their growth and peace. New era, new way, fast-paced day. History made in bold display. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold but minds explore, East meets West at knowledge door. Complex world they navigate, China's power never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold but minds explore, East meets West at knowledge door. Complex world they navigate, China's